नमः शिवायेति शिवं प्रपद्ये शिवप्रसीदेति शिवं प्रपद्ये शिवात्परन्नेति शिवं प्रपद्ये शिवोऽहमस्मीति शिवं प्रपद्ये. In the previous satsanga, we completed the third shlokam of Shivananda Lahari, which ended with the very essence of the shloka, which is Hridi Bhaje. On one hand, this shloka talks about the greatness of Parameshwara, and on the other hand, it also gives us a very subtle clue as to how we have to connect with this magnificent Lord. It is through our heart. It is by worshipping Him with a heart full of love. Then in the fourth shloka, Acharya says, Sahasram vartante jagadi vibudhaha kshudraphalada namanye swapne va tadanusaranam tatkrita हरिब्रह्मादीनामपि निकटभाजामसुलभं चिरं व्याजे शम्भो शिव तव पदाम्भोजभजनम्. Acharya says there are hundreds of gods, thousands of gods in the world who give very, very small rewards. And even in my dreams, I don't want to go behind any of them, neither am I interested in any of these fruits. Now, when we say gods, we are talking about the Vedic gods here. In the context of the Vaidika karmakanda bhaga, the Vedic ritualistic portion, what it says is you can do yaga yajnas through which certain devatas are pleased. Now, these devatas are not Ishvara. Now, you have an Ishvara who is Sakala Lokaniyamaka, Saguna Brahman, the controller of the entire universe, the creator, sustainer, and the destroyer of the entire universe. It is Brahman, but it is appearing with the form in its Saguna Sakara Rupa. But that is not the Devata that we are speaking about here. Devatas are Agni, Vayu, Indra, all of these Devatas who have specific roles to play. And not just outside, even within our bodies, they have certain Adhishtana Sthanas, which we saw earlier while speaking about the story of Taraka's sons, Tarakasura's sons. So these Devatas, externally, they control certain things. Like, for example, Agni is the Devata for fire. And internally, within our own body, the Adhishtana Sthana is Va. Agni is the presiding deity for the function of speech. So, like this, these devatas are there externally and they are also there within us, governing certain functions of the body and governing certain functions at the cosmic level. So, when you do a yaga yajna, you do it with a certain intention in mind, a certain sankalpa in mind. These devatas will give you those results. Now, if you want rain, you can do certain yaga yajnas. If you want a son, there's the Putra Kameshti yajna. If there is you want wealth or you want to go to a particular heaven, there are yaga yajnas prescribed for all such benefits. Now, why is this prescribed in the Vedas? A lot of people ask this question. Why is the Vedamata giving us all these benefits? We are telling you have to go beyond desire, you have to go beyond desire. But on the other hand, forget worldly pleasures. The Shruti itself is promising otherworldly pleasures, heavens, and such advanced pleasures which are available everywhere. Why is the Vedas promising this? The simple answer is it's because that's what we're interested in. Who wants bhakti? Who wants jnanam and vairagya? We want certain results. So, what the Shastras do, they give us a certain methodology through which you can attain those results, but in the process, you get Chitta Shuddhi. That is the beautiful methodology of the Karmakanda Veda Bhaga, where all these desires which are there in the human mind, the Shastras know and the Rishis know that until to a certain extent they are satisfied, this person will not get Vairagya. Because until those desires are satisfied, we will still be living in the delusion that the reason I'm unhappy is because I don't have wealth, or because I don't have children, or because I haven't attained this particular Swargaloka. It is only after reaching there that we see with full clarity that this is not the answer to the question. This is not the solution to the problem of feeling incomplete, feeling like something is not enough. No matter what we do, we don't find that fulfillment in life. And to get to this conclusion, we have to first look into the world. That's why the Upanishad says, Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmano nirvedamayat nasti akritah kritena tadvijnanartham sar gurumeva abhigachet samitpanihi shrotriyam brahmanishtam. What does this person do? First, he examines the world. A Viveki examines through his intellect. An Aviveki, a person who is not so sharp, he gets into the world and he experiments and he tries every single thing possible. He runs behind all these results. In the Vedic context, it's the Swargalokas and all the results that come from Yaga Yagnas. In the modern context, it is everything that we chase: career, fame, money, all of these things that we chase. It is only after a certain amount of chasing we come to the conclusion that no matter what I chase, no matter what I attain by this chase, I'm not going to get complete fulfillment. But the unique feature of Vedas is, someone asked me this, a person who is putting efforts to do Vedic karmas or yaga yajnas and get certain results, how are they any better than the person who is working in his office to get a promotion? Both of them have a desire, both of them are working towards the attainment of desire, and both of them don't have vairagya. So how is the karmata somehow better than this person who is a corporate professional? The simple answer to that is, the nature of work in the Vedic karmakanda is such that it will give you vairagya. For example, if there are two people, one person is working hard to become a world class football player, the other person wants to become the CEO of a company, who do you think is going to be healthier? When you measure physical health, who is going to be healthier? Clearly, it's the person who wants to be a football player, because it is a part of his job to be healthy. As he is chasing his desire, he is also chasing his desire, but as he is doing that, in the process, this particular aspect called health is being taken care of automatically because of the nature of his work. Like that, as far as Shraddha and Bhakti, Vairagyam, all of this are concerned, when you are putting efforts as prescribed in the Vedas, even though you're doing it with a result in mind, you are doing it with the idea of going to some Swargaloka or attaining some heavenly pleasure, the process is designed in such a way that all this adhikari lakshanas, viveka, vairagya, all of this, it will give you on its own. It is the nature of the job. That is why the Vedas are prescribing so many rituals to us. Because the effort we can either put in the world or we can put it here. Here, if we put effort, the benefit is, the nature of this work is such that it inspires Shraddha, it inspires Bhakti and Jnanam and Vairagya. But after going through this, again, we have to be very careful about this. This is coming from a person who has transcended all of this. We have worldly desires, but we have Vairagya only towards the Vedic ritualistic portion. This is something which is often referred to as the Ardha Kukkuti Nyaya. So there's a very intelligent farmer. What he does is, he is feeding grains to his chicken every day, and the chicken gives him eggs regularly. So what this person sees is, he sees the face or the head of the chicken is that through which it consumes the grains. Then the back side of the chicken is the part that gives me the fruit, which is the egg. So he thinks, why don't I cut off the chicken's head so it will stop being a liability to me? Because my grains are going away through this chicken's mouth. So what I'll do, I'll cut off its head so that I can get rid of the liability and only keep the egg which I want. And he went ahead with it. And any person with a little bit of common sense will know what happens after that. So, like this, what we are doing is, we have very conveniently neglected the Vedic karma kanda bhaga, but we are doing some other karma outside. If you have taken up sannyasa and you have gone beyond samsara, then no Vedic karma, no worldly karma, understandable. But as long as you are working in the world, as long as you are living in the family, you have no right to neglect the Vedic karma kanda. You have no right to say all these karmas I won't do because now I am studying Upanishads. If you have so much vairagya, take sannyasam today and go and study Upanishads. If you don't have the guts to do that, perform your Vedic karmas. It's as simple as that. But from the perception of a Jivan Mukta Purusha, perception of a ParaaBhakta, a kind of bhakta who doesn't even want liberation because he has already got liberation. He says, Namanye swapne va tadanusaranam tatkrita phalam. I am not interested in performing any of this, neither am I interested in the fruits of those karmas. Why? Haribrahmadinamapi nikataμπhajam asulabham chiram yache shambho shivatava padamboja bhajanam. Because, O Parameshwara, I am seeking for your divine feet. I am seeking the Paramapada. So, I am not interested in any of this. So, you have to transcend the Vedic karmakanda bhaga through jnanam or through bhakti. Ultimately, they are not different. Acharya defines bhakti as swaswaroopanusandhanam bhaktiriti abhidhiyate. In Viveka Chudamani, he says that drive to know one's own real nature, meditating on one's own real nature, that is bhakti. One very famous quote from a Tamil saint Tirumular is Anbe Shivam. Anbu means love, Shivam means God. But when we go a level deeper, Anbu is Bhakti and Shivam is Jnanam. So Jnanam and Bhakti at their highest level are not separate from each other. So it is through this ParaaBhakti or this Jnanam that we transcend the ritualistic portion of the Vedas. Acharya says, because I'm so interested in attaining those lotus feet of yours, O Shambhu, none of this appeals to me. Narada Maharshi says in Bhakti Sutras, Bhaktistu Lokaveda Vyaparanyasaha. Bhakti means first you let go of the world. The order itself in the sutra is very beautiful. First, what do you do? Loka Vyaparanyasaha. First, completely stop interacting with the world. Then you go beyond the Vedas also. You completely stop interacting with the Vedas from the perspective of these performing Vedic karmas. This is sannyasam basically. Highest ParaaBhakti is sannyasam. You take refuge in Bhagavan and Bhagavan alone. You let go of all the supports that you have in society and you let go of the support of the Vedas also. So here Acharya says he's speaking about that ParaaBhakti where because of this intense desire to attain the lotus feet of Parameshwara, he has let go of all the interest that he has in doing any karma and attaining any fruits from that. We'll continue this in the next satsang. Shiva Shiva.